Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with more NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 action here tonight. Live on KRC, I'm Keegan Schneider. We're going to bring you tonight's action at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the UAW Daimler Chrysler 400. Again, at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Mile-and-a-half racetrack, a 400-mile race set for tonight, 267 laps. We saw a thriller of a Busch Series race yesterday right here at Las Vegas. We were going to start this race at 7. The Xfinity race ran a little long with a couple overtime finishes there. So I did watch the end of that race. Pretty good race, at least at the end of the race. And, man, Myatt Snider gets a win. What is with 2021 and these surprise winners? It doesn't matter what series it is. Outside of maybe Ben Rhodes winning both truck races so far, but I mean, you got Ty Gibbs winning in his first start in the Xfinity Series. Myatt Snider, of all people, got a win today in the Xfinity Series, and then obviously 2 for 2 in the Cup Series with 2 drivers getting their first career wins. I don't know how this is going on. Wait to see what happens tomorrow in the Cup Series race, because the way this season's been shaping up, we might see more wild action tomorrow. But here today, we're about to race. Starting from the rear with Jimmy Johnson in our chase for 8. Johnson coming in off a win in the last race at Rockingham, barely holding off Kevin Harvick, who ran out of gas on the last lap of the race, battling him for the lead. Will today be another fuel mileage race? We'll find out in 400 miles as the green flag is about to wave. And so there we are. Green flag in the air, and we are underway at Las Vegas. A lot of drivers with pretty good equipment here starting towards the rear of the field, and that includes Jimmy Johnson from last place, while his teammate, Brian Vickers, rookie, starting on the pole. Greg Biffle out towards the back as well. Johnson might have overdrove turns 3 and 4 a little bit, and Brian Vickers is going to lead lap 1. Justin Sozio, Jonathan Rogers, and Tyler Burback, welcome to the stream. Johnson passing 2 cars already on lap 1. Well, his teammate leads the opening lap. Look at Terry Labonte after starting 39th. Look how many cars he was able to pass in the first couple laps. His teammate Johnson trying to maybe get closer and catch up as well. Look at this 3x3 through the middle and the back of the pack. These guys are going at it early on, and Johnson, what a move to the inside. Look out. Risky move down to the apron, nearly 4 wide through the tri-oval. Still trying to catch his car. A little contact to the outside with the 191. More contact goes Johnson, and the 191's in the wall, and then crash around him. Johnson has to go to the grass. Caution's out on lap 2. That was a mess. Huge mess off of turn 2. It all started when they were 4 wide on the front stretch when Johnson made a daring move down to the apron and was still loose by the time he got up into turn 1. And the caution flag will wave. Johnson's got pretty good damage on the left side of his race car. When Johnson slid up the track into the 191, he barely kept it off the wall. But they were still going 2 and 3 wide underneath him, and they just didn't get out of Johnson's way in time, and they all just kind of pinched him off at the last second as well. In a tough lap 2 crash. Cap24, welcome to the stream. Don't gotta be aggressive. Yeah, that was something.
Looks like we were the only car on pit road during that entire caution.
There wasn't actually that many cars involved. Bobby Labonte kind of got hooked on the 48 of Johnson after they made contact, so he went around. Johnson ended up in the grass down the backstretch, but for the most part, there isn't anybody with heavy damage, and all 43 cars are still on the track, again, after that lap 2 accident. And a single file restart. was making good moves. He was just a little too loose into turn one. It didn't look like a lot of speed is going to get knocked out of this 48 car because he didn't hit the wall very hard. Just slightly got pinched into it. There was kind of cars around him. The left side of his car definitely had a little bit of damage. Most of it was repairable, if not all of it. Sliding his way on right back to 37th. 3 wide behind him, 2 by 2 in the field in front of him. Slight bit of contact with the 109 car to his outside as well. Or sorry, not the 109. It wasn't the 109. I'm not entirely sure who that was. It might have been the 123. Tough to tell what paint scheme exactly that was. We're going to try the outside. Saw Harvick in the Busch race yesterday hang the outside. Battle for the lead every now and then. Big loose moment off turn 4 there by Johnson, sliding the tires, trying to stay underneath the 42 of Jamie McMurray at that time. In the Busch Series race yesterday, it wasn't every single time we went down to the apron and the tri-oval got loose, but here today in the Cup Series, that might be a different story. Narrowly 3 wide into turns 1 and 2 underneath Casey Mears and Terry Labonte now. Johnson makes the pass on both of them. He's already up to 23rd. Jimmy's got a very fast race car today. I mean, the Busch Series race, though, nobody was really able to pull out ahead once they got to the lead. Will that be the same for Johnson here in this one? So he shakes underneath Nemechek in the 0-1. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Bobby Labonte right in front of Jimmy Johnson. If he gets underneath him after Bobby was involved in that last caution as well as Jimmy. Jimmy's getting really loose. And Labonte kind of hits him in the center of the corner. That doesn't help. Somehow Jimmy still gets around him, flying through the field. Patrick Chatterley, welcome to the stream. Oh! I was looking at the chat at a bad spot on the racetrack right there. Jimmy's still trying to catch that car. He's definitely going to have to tighten this race car up under this first pit stop. It is way too loose. No practice or qualifying coming into today's race. So that definitely isn't helping. It's a fast race car, but it's not a stable one. But anyway, yes, Patrick, welcome to the stream. Gave your boss grief for making you late for the stream. You're not that late, at least. Hopefully didn't. Hopefully that's a joke. I'm assuming it is. Oh! Casey Kane, almost a rookie mistake there, pinching Johnson off in a bad area, getting into turn 3. He got the accidental boot that time. Really hear that horsepower difference in the race car tonight than what there was in the Busch Series race yesterday as well. It is amazing how much Jimmie Johnson is sawing through this field. Underneath Kenseth now. Oh! I don't think Rusty Wallace saw Johnson there either. Jimmy is making moves. 3 wide to the inside underneath Jeff Gordon. Kurt Busch. Oh, Jimmy washes up the track just a little bit. Chrome paint scheme for the DuPont Chevrolet of Jeff Gordon here tonight. Tony Stewart, Michael Waltrip almost made contact off turn 4. Jimmie Johnson still trying to close that gap behind both of them. Kevin Harvick is currently the race leader after Vickers led a little bit at the beginning. And Vickers is now all the way back to 6th. Michael Waltrip in the top 5. Leaving a little bit of bottom open in 3 and 4. Johnson going to get underneath, and Ryan Newman with the charge to second place, getting around Dale Jarrett. And Jimmie Johnson has absolutely just ripped through this field. Amir, welcome to the stream, and thanks for tuning in here tonight. Welcome from Europe. We'll see if Jimmy can pull away. If he can get to the lead. I mean, as fast as he ripped through this field, he's definitely got a fast car. It's been very, very loose, though. He does slide up in front of Dale Jarrett for 3rd off turn 4. Stewart's got to run after getting around Waltrip. He's going to get to the inside of Dale Jarrett. Nope, now he's going to duck in line behind him by the time they get into turn number 1. Ryan Newman will be going for the lead as Jimmy goes wide behind him in 3rd. Jimmy hangs on to his positioning on the racetrack because Stewart does get underneath Jarrett off turn 2. Ryan Newman and Kevin Harvick side by side for the lead still, allowing the door to open up for Johnson to get underneath Harvick now for 2nd place. And the Rocket Man, Ryan Newman, going to lead his first lap to get himself 5 bonus points early. And Johnson all the way to the inside. He tried to lead the lap in the line. I believe Newman still got it. Newman sends it off into turn 1. Yeah, I figured it was a joke. Car definitely needs a round of wedge. It's fast. If he can get the stability and keep the speed as well, Jimmy's going to have a good day. Contact with Newman. You saw him wiggling all over the place on the front stretch. Jimmy did lead that lap at the line, but it wasn't the way he wanted to lead it. Newman in the wall off turn 4. Stewart, Harvick, who are side by side for 3rd, and that actually stacked up Harvick behind Newman after Newman got wide and in the wall. And now Tony Stewart to the inside of Ryan Newman for 2nd place. I don't know if it's the drafting that's allowing these guys to stay packed together or what it is. I don't remember the drafting ever being like this in this game, especially on the 1.5 miles. But we didn't really see much of a breakaway in the truck race at Atlanta, nor the Busch, or now early on in the Cup race at Vegas tonight. Tony Stewart is up to 2nd place. He wants to lead his first lap of the night. Already 4 different leaders today, and Johnson left way too much bottom open into 1, overdriving the corner on entry. Stewart to the inside. Johnson is not hanging onto his car. He can't even run side by side right now. All over the place down the backstretch. Might be a wreck here before long if these cars get too racy with how unstable this 48 car is. At the line, Stewart leads the lap by inches. 5 bonus points for Tony. 5 different leaders in the first 26 laps here at Vegas. Ryan Newman's on the inside, right in line behind Tony Stewart right now. Boy, Newman got tight. Slides up in between the 48 and the 12. Johnson's in the wall again off turn 2. Barely keeping it off. Stewart, though, getting into turn 3. But Tony cannot clear Johnson, despite Johnson running too wide with how loose his car is off the exit of the corner. There's a little nudge there. Jimmy almost in the wall again into turn 1. What a battle for the lead. Ryan Newman walking up the racetrack. Not a lot of room for Johnson. He's in the wall again. Very lightly, luckily, but it's enough to at least slow him down. Stewart is finally clear. Johnson down to block Newman. Harvick gets a run to the outside of Ryan now. Another loose moment there for Jimmy Johnson. Even on the straightaways, just unable to keep control of the car. Slides way too loose under 1 and 2, but barely keeps it off Stewart. On the edge of your seat action early on at Vegas. And Johnson clear into turn 3, drives it in deep. Harvick, Stewart right there. This is a lot of what we saw most of the night in the Busch Series yesterday. Harvick, who won that race, trying to get back to the lead again. Contact to the inside and the outside. We stay green. Harvick back to 4th behind Newman in front of Jarrett. Stewart tried to take a look to the outside. He's still there on Jimmy Johnson. Johnson pushes a little tight again. Stewart back down to the bottom with a crossover. I think every lap, all 3 that Stewart's led so far, has been by inches every time. Jimmy can get the run off the outside. Stewart almost cleared him, but not quite. Obviously, the lack of practice is not going to help Johnson in the early going of today's race as well. His car is definitely loose. You guys have seen the rear tires slide around a lot in the early going. We got a slow car in the backstretch. Likely a blown engine. Not sure who it is. Maybe we'll see it when these 2 drivers battling for the lead approach him. Look at how loose Jimmy got into 3. All over the place, sideways. Car on the apron is Ricky Craven, who started at the rear, and he'll finish there as well. Tough break for Craven. Our NASCAR Thunder 04 Season 2 Daytona 500 winner. Johnson back to the inside, went to the apron. Barely clears Stewart into turn 1. Full send mode for Johnson early on. And we've had 1 caution so far tonight, back on lap 2. Now Stewart going to drive it in extra low. He had about a full car on the apron going into turn 3. Not that much of a transition between the banking and the apron of the racetrack in the corners here with this configuration of it. Or sorry, you almost said Atlanta, of Vegas being a lot flatter than the progressive banking on the racetrack in the corners that we see now. Stewart gets to the inside. He's not able to clear Johnson as quickly as Johnson's able to clear Stewart. What a battle. Oh, they almost got into one another again. They've been very close to making heavy contact. I think they've only even hit each other once. Stewart clear. Just allowing Ryan Newman to get right back into it again. Halfway on fuel for Johnson right now. He gets to the inside of Stewart into turn 3. Had to lift just a little bit extra. He was starting to get a little loose. Johnson trying to give himself more room to save the car down on the bottom, and he's able to do it, but Stewart hangs on to the lead because of it. What a run, though, through 1 and 2. Johnson pulls right to the back bumper of Stewart again. It's like a restrictor plate race. Oh, Jimmy just gets to the outside of Tony. Trying the high side this time. He hasn't been able to make a pass on the top yet. Look at him pull Stewart. A little bump. That actually costed Jimmy. Looked like he was going to have him cleared, and then once they made the contact, and now Stewart trying to block Johnson. Johnson's drifting all the way through the corner. Oh, he nudges the grass, slides in front of Harvick, and saves it. And now Newman's going for the lead underneath Tony Stewart. And now Newman goes a little wide, and Tony's going to hang on to the lead. What a save by Jimmy Johnson in turns 1 and 2. That car was drifting all the way around. He was kind of letting it drift and not turn right to avoid overcorrecting it. And once it got in the grass just a little bit with the left side tires and wanted to jerk the car immediately to the right. And luckily Harvick was able to check up in time before that got nasty. It's going to burn Johnson's tires up a little bit more, I'm sure of it. Newman had his opportunity right there to get around Stewart, and he's losing him quickly. It's crazy how the AI just race the heck out of you in these EA games. You get around him for the lead, you think you're good with the clean air, and Jimmy just can't pull away. Great look high and then going low to get around Newman through 3 and 4. Back to second place for Johnson. He's got a couple of donuts on the side of his car. What a run by Johnson down the front stretch. Jimmy to the high side. Tony trying to block. Remember, he tried to block down on the inside already, and he wasn't clear, which caused Johnson to get a little sideways. Jimmy back to the outside through 3 and 4. Seems like the top works a little better in 3 and 4 than 1 and 2. You have a wider exit to the corner for the wall, no safer barrier. And Jimmy going to lead the lap at the line. That might be a winning move Johnson's going to have to look at. Is the outside in the final corner if he is on the right rear, because I'm sure the driver in the lead is going to want to protect the bottom, but Johnson actually beat Stewart back to the line there. Johnson underneath Stewart. Stewart crowds him down on that white line. And Jimmy was loose all the way through the corner because of it. Contact with Tony Stewart again. And Johnson to the lead. Both momentum lost for both drivers, though, and Newman is to the back bumper of Stewart again. Newman for second place. Now he's going for the lead, too. Johnson clear. Yes, he is. Barely. Jimmy's got to tighten this car up. It's just amazing how much that car has been sliding around early on. She's just trying to hold on for dear life with Ryan Newman right behind him. Newman drove it in so deep into turn 1. Johnson had no chance to get to the bottom of the track there, but Newman can't clear him off turn 2. Jimmy gets such a great run on the outside. These guys are racing like it's the final laps out here. So Newman going to clear him this time. He has a chance to pull up. Didn't do it. Jimmy would be able to hold that line a lot better if the car wasn't as loose. And every time he makes contact, it slows him down so much he can't get to the lead afterwards because of it. If the car wasn't as loose as it is, I'm sure he'd be able to drive away once he gets to the lead. Maybe it is going to be like the Busch Series after all. Jimmy was going to try the high side again to get to the right rear of Newman. Newman actually did go high into that corner. Another chance into turns 3 and 4, though. Johnson Gets around him, but slides way up the track, almost in the wall. Newman back down to the bottom of the track again. Jimmy slid a little too wide. He did a perfect job keeping it off the wall despite staying in the gas. Tony Stewart's just kind of watching this battle go, and he's like, I'm going to stay a couple car lengths behind these guys just in case they wreck each other. I'll be here to miss it. Oh man, that is a hairy situation. Every time he gets underneath the car, he doesn't even have to get below the white line. He gets right on the paint. And it is enough to get that car sideways with how loose the handling is for Jimmy Johnson right now. Clears Ryan Newman. Got him right back. Newman got tight. Stewart might try to go for second now. And Stewart's got the spot over Newman. It looks like he'll pull. No, he doesn't pull clear yet. Wide arc for Stewart. I guess that's one way to clear Newman. Even with the lead, you can really see the rear tire sliding for Jimmy Johnson while he's in the gas. Doesn't matter whether it's in the tri-oval, especially on the exit of the corners, but even on entrance we've seen him get loose. Middle of the corner, it doesn't matter. He is struggling with this car right now. Great move for Newman to get back to second place on Tony Stewart with this 3-car breakaway at the front of the field. I didn't know we were racing at Talladega tonight, but I guess we are. Gonna have about as many lead changes in this race as what you would see in a Talladega race, and now Newman's gonna try the outside. He saw Jimmy had a little bit of success with it earlier. Newman does not have that success though. And that allows Tony Stewart to get underneath him. Jimmy down low. Hooks the inside line pretty well. Newman trying to get around Stewart, but Stewart's blocking him right now for second. Quarter of a tank left of fuel. We're at lap 50 here today. No pit stops have happened yet. We had that one caution back on lap 2, so caution laps have been ran to maybe save a little bit of fuel during the course of this opening run. Remember, we saw a fuel mileage race in the Busch Series yesterday. Or sorry, I meant to say with the Rockingham race last weekend for the Cup Series on Sunday. We saw a fuel mileage race. Newman to the bottom. Trying to get around Stewart, caution's out. Caution's out for the second time today at lap 51. We'll see what the accident's for. Johnson in the lead as the 141 goes around and everybody misses him to the outside. Tough to tell what happened there, but he nosed it hard into the wall off of turn 4, and luckily when he was backing down the track, nobody else drilled him. And we are going to see pit stops likely under caution. Johnson will lead the entire field to pit road. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel coming for Jimmy. He's going to put a lot of wedge in that car. He's going to put 2 rounds of wedge in it. Diamond Jeff, welcome to the stream. So now we get to see who's going to win the race off pit road. Johnson still got a little bit of damage on the left side of his car from that lap 2 minor incident. And, oh, Gordon almost had it. Tony Stewart wins the race off pit road, and Johnson's crew loses in 3 spots. Very fast pit stop, though, for Jeff Gordon, kind of coming out of nowhere to jump up to second. Ryan Newman kind of stays stagnant. Stewart gained a spot. Green flag back in the air. Really hear those gears grinding as Johnson was trying to get into the gas as he gets underneath Ryan Newman into turn 1. Pretty solid restart for Johnson. It looked like he was about to spin the tires there, but I guess he didn't. Jimmy to the outside and Jeff Gordon for second. So he tightened this race car up. Should be able to hold a straight line a lot easier now. So he tries to get around his teammate. Gordon has not led a lap yet. Oh, Gordon did not give him a lot of room off turn 4. Trotting his teammate. Oh, Johnson got way too tight. Guess that's the problem, though. He might have to start backing these corners up a little bit more after tightening the race car up because he just got into his teammate Jeff Gordon there. Especially being in traffic. Hopefully he didn't go too much on the wedge, otherwise he might have to drop it back down again. As Tony Stewart still leads off the restart. Johnson trying to take a peek low. Stewart with a little block. Johnson got tight again up the racetrack after Stewart threw a block on the front stretch. That really stagnated Johnson's run out. Jimmy wasn't able to pull to the inside until he got into turn 1. Johnson struggling now all of a sudden with a very loose car to a very tight car. Might have went a little too much on the wedge. As Stewart brushes the wall off turn 4, lead change at the line, Johnson back out in front. Dale Jarrett up to 3rd place. Yeah, Jimmy's having a tough time trying to stick the bottom. He's pushing quite a bit, almost all the way through the corner. Oh, and that was a terrible block, and Stewart about goes around. He's in the wall. We stay green. Stewart falls outside the top 10. A terrible block by Jimmy Johnson down the back straightaway, trying to hold on to the lead. As Jeff Gordon and Dale Jarrett rather, race for second. Jr., I believe, is in the top 5. At least lined up 5th on the restart. Gordon to 2nd place behind his teammate Jimmy Johnson. That was a terrible block there by Jimmy, and I'm sure he feels bad for it. He's struggling with a tight car right now, so he's trying desperately to make sure Stewart didn't get under him. Jimmy does not want another car alongside of him, but way too much wedge being put into that race car. Johnson, for the life of him, cannot get to the bottom of the track, and now that's going to allow Jeff Gordon to get underneath him. And Jeff Gordon going to take his first lead of the race, clearing his teammate Jimmy Johnson off turn 4. Nudge of the bumper there. Loosen up Jeff Gordon just a little bit. Enough for Johnson to get on by and clear him off turn 2. Guess that's one way to do it without getting super tight. Obviously, he got into it because he was still a little tight. His car handles a little bit better out in the clean air when he's not tucked in line behind the leader or another car in front of him, but even still, it is a struggle nonetheless. So we'll just have to try and continue to make adjustments on the coming pit stops. So we can hopefully get the car to handle the way he wants it to before the end of this race. Gordon hooking that white line, left side tires below it. No out of bounds here at Las Vegas. Jimmy leads at the line. Gordon does have 5 bonus points already for leading the lap early on. We have had 6 different leaders in this race. And 3 Hendrick Chevrolets have led. Remember, Brian Vickers started on the pole and led the first handful of laps. Johnson underneath Gordon. Jimmy, he had to brake really hard that time. And somehow Gordon wasn't able to clear him. What a move by Johnson. I think Gordon checked up just as much as Jimmy did in the center of the corner. And Johnson with a clean pass to get back to the lead. Back and forth go the leaders. Jimmy was going to look low there. And thought about shot back up the racetrack. Yeah, he drove it in way too deep that time. Gordon's easily going to hold on to the lead. Stewart somehow pulling away despite battling as hard as they are. And Jarrett's still back there in third. Johnson's got to run off turn 2 to the inside of Gordon. Will he make a clean pass this time, or is the car going to get tight again? Clean pass. That was about as good as Johnson has stuck the inside since the pit stop. Made that look easy. Can he stick it though in 1 and 2? Man, he's not locking the front tires up when he gets on the binders, but he is still just pushing up the track. It's a little better in 3 and 4. He hooks that white line beautifully again. 1 and 2 though, a little different, which is actually kind of odd because 1 and 2 is a little wider angle getting in on entry into that corner versus in 3 and 4, but yet the car is tighter in 1 and 2. Look at this. All the way up the track. Running a lot closer to that higher groove. Gordon almost cleared him. He came from a couple car lengths back getting into the corner to being right there. At least Jimmy's able to run side by side on the outside a little better without that car getting loose. Be careful in the top into 1 and 2. He knows his car is really tight at that end of the track. Actually held on to it pretty well that time, but Gordon is still going to clear him. Jimmy going to get the run off the high side, and he's going to try to cross Gordon back over to the inside into turn 3. Johnson goes way down low, and again hooks the white line, clearing Gordon. Gordon almost got in the wall off turn 4. Very close call. Jimmy taking that shortcut on the front stretch. Keeps Gordon behind him. Jimmy got through 1 and 2 pretty well that time. Didn't allow Gordon to get back around him there. 3 and 4, Jimmy overdrives it. He knew he had to protect the bottom and wanted to protect the bottom, and therefore pushing tight off the exit of the corner, and Jeff Gordon back out in front again. At the line at least, hasn't cleared him yet, but I'm sure in 1 and 2 he's going to clear Jimmy. You can really hear the tires screeching that time. Saw an exciting finish to the Busch Series race yesterday. Already an exciting opening 70-plus laps of action today in the Cup Series race. We're going to have a little trivia question here tonight. Yes, trivia is back. As this question relates to Las Vegas Motor Speedway and our driver Jimmy Johnson. It's Jeff Gordon. It's low in 1 and 2. Jimmy wanted to slide down in front of him. He just literally could not get that car to turn. Hang on for a second on that trivia question. Jimmy overdrives it by a ton into Gordon, and that will give Gordon the lead. Somebody else has blown their engine off turn 2. They'll be rolling down the backstretch, I'm sure. Down on the apron. Looked like it was the 141. That was who nosed it into the wall off turn 4 earlier. Wouldn't be surprised if some of that damage from that accident has affected his engine to expire. Jimmie Johnson back out in front again. Gordon again crossed the back over, so similar to what we were seeing earlier. Johnson way too wide. He's going to end up in the wall one of these times in 1 and 2 with how tight that car is getting, especially if he's on the outside getting into that corner. So the car's tighter. The handling is better than what it was on the first run, but it is a little too tight. So he's still going to have to try and adjust it to get it perfect. Still trying to stick it underneath Gordon. All right, trivia question. We'll get back to it now. Jimmie Johnson has 4 career wins at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What year did he win leading only 1 lap? And that was a last lap pass for the win, of course. 4 career wins at Las Vegas for Jimmie Johnson in his Cup Series career. And which one of those races, or I should say what year, was the race in which he only led 1 lap in that race? Give you guys a handful of laps here. We'll go back to the answer to that trivia question at lap 85. I'll give you guys about 8 or 9 laps. So again, comment down below in the chat. Still surprised nobody's been able to close in on Jeff Gordon and Jimmie Johnson so far since they battled back and forth as hard as they are right now. Guess it just shows the speed in the Hendrick Chevrolets today. Remember, Johnson started last. Didn't take him long to get to the front, even with that early caution on lap 2. Well, if this was stage racing, this would be the final lap of stage 1 at Las Vegas, but only points are awarded at the end of the race for finishing position, except for the bonus points that are awarded, again, 5 bonus points for leading a lap and 10 bonus points for leading the most laps. Gordon ran a little bit lower than Johnson that time. Still low down the backstretch into turn 3. He goes even lower. Jimmie got to the bottom in time in turn 3, but Gordon just kept going even lower. Jeff was committed to trying to make that move, but that allows Johnson to beat him back to the gas slightly. Close quarters racing down into turn 1. Jimmie held the outside about as well as he could with a tighter race car, and Gordon was unable to clear. These guys are going at it. What a fun battle. These two teammates. This is fun. It's amazing how close Jimmy drives on that right side of the 24, just trying to get that pole. Just whatever sort of a pole he can, getting into the corner. And then hope that he beats him back to the gas. Off the exit, which he kind of did again right there. Gets the run. Jimmy leads the lap. Jimmy slides the tires a little bit too much. Again, he's been struggling in 1 and 2, being a little too tight. 3 and 4, not as bad. And Gordon is clear. Johnson might try a crossover. Johnson to the inside of Gordon into 3. Got him right back. Andrew Hollenbach, welcome to the stream. Yeah, I saw Tyler Burback earlier mention something about Jackson being unlucky. I did not catch most of the race today. I did catch the very end, the last overtime finish. That was literally the only thing I was able to see. It was Wyatt Snyder nailing the restart and I'm going nearly 3 and 4 wide behind him. And that allowed him to hang on barely to hold off Reddick and the rest of the field. Brandon Jones is up there at the end. Wyatt Snyder wins of all drivers. Didn't expect him to perform in that RCR equipment. Good win, though. I didn't see what happened to Gregson. Gordon almost got the wall off turn 2. He can't stick the outside as well as Jimmy Johnson, it seems like. Jimmy gaps him off turn 4 a little bit. Caution. Johnson had the nose out in front of Gordon. Oh, I fat fingered it. And the field's going to be hitting pit road. I'm not sure what happened. I do that all the time with this game. I never do that with NASCAR Thunder 04, but with this game, all the time. It's because, like, I'm holding the throttle because you don't have to race back to the line, and if I'm holding it just a little bit too long, that ends up happening. Oh, I was going to make an adjustment there, but I didn't have enough time to do it. Or I should say I didn't give myself enough time to do it. So caution's out for the 3rd time today. Johnson barely had the lead over Gordon at the time of the caution. Gordon was in the process of getting around him. Jimmy Johnson's pit crew has just not been on it today. He came in first on both pit stops under caution and comes out 4th both times. Green flag back in the air. Jeff Gordon wins the race off pit road. Johnson nailed the last restart. Elliott Sadler, Jeff Burton coming in out of nowhere. What a restart by Jimmy Johnson. He struggled on the restarts at Rockingham, but here today at Vegas, that was far better than even the one before as he goes from 4th to 1st. So much for that winning the race off pit road. He got shot out of a cannon. And he has the lead before they get into turn 3. That was a single file restart nonetheless. And Gordon's got pressure underneath him as well. He must not have taken off very well because Gordon might lose a spot to Jeff Burton. Remember, Burton actually restarted in 3rd. So once Johnson got underneath Jeff Burton, Burton slides right underneath Jimmy to follow him on through there. I don't think Jeff Gordon took off very well from the lead. I think that's what helped Johnson and ended up actually helping Jeff Burton because he was able to follow Jimmy in there. Oh, Burton got into the side of Johnson. Stacks up the field into 1. Burton got the wall as well. Jimmy was kind of giving him room. A lot of room underneath. I was about to say he was being extra generous. Burton just, for whatever reason, couldn't use all that room to his advantage. Tristan Games, welcome to the stream. Ooh, a little wiggle by the 88 of Dale Jarrett. Jarrett trying to fend off Kevin Harvick. Tony Stewart's back up in the top 5 and 4th. Jeff Gordon had a terrible restart. I'm not even sure where he is right now. Three cautions today. Jimmy was a good guy. I only have one favorite drive. Well, I grew up a Greg Biffle fan. Oh my goodness, Dale Jarrett was committed. I mean, that entire car was below the white line. Oh, what a block off turn 4, and Dale Jarrett's going to take his first lead of the race. 5 bonus points for him. Johnson going to try to cross him over into turn 1. It's where he's gotten tight on the racetrack. Jarrett's still there. Jimmy couldn't clear him. Should be able to get him in 3 and 4. He's a little better at this end of the track. Yeah, currently a Ryan Blaney fan. I was a Biffle fan before Blaney got in to NASCAR. Dale Jarrett. I don't know what happened there. Maybe a little aero sensitive on the front of his race car. Tucked in line behind Johnson because Jarrett got in the wall getting into turn 3. Awkward spot to do that. And Kevin Harvick is going to get underneath him. Harvick going to take over second place perhaps. Oh yeah, he's definitely going to clear Jarrett. Jimmy was a good guy, though. One of the more humble drivers in the garage. Despite his success, how could you not like Jimmy Johnson? Jimmy Johnson, the person, especially. And the talented race car driver. Who's an all-in-one package. Best Jimmy Johnson moment? Honestly, when he clinched his 7th championship, that was pretty awesome. That's like one of the ones that sticks out in my memory the most. Also, his win at Talladega in 2011 by inches, tied for the closest finish in NASCAR history for the Cup Series. He barely, I mean, they were like 4 wide across the line. Johnson barely beat Clinton Boyer. Granted, that was during the tandem era, so Jimmy did make a good move, but he had the help from Dale Jr. behind as well. He couldn't have done it himself. But that moment kind of sticks in my brain, too. I remember watching that at my grandparents' house that day. I can vividly remember watching that one. Just being astonished. And yelling at the TV because Greg Biffle was pushing Carl Edwards on the outside. Like I mentioned, I was a Biffle fan. And I mean, another like 100 feet after that, Carl Edwards is going to win the race. 4 wide on the outside. Tim Irvin, welcome to the stream. He's able to challenge Johnson like Jeff Gordon did before the caution. Unfortunately, Gordon's lost a lot of spots on the restart, despite restarting in the lead. Dover saved 2006. Yeah, I don't remember watching that live. Like, there was some... I probably watched qualifying from time to time. I definitely try to watch the race as much as I possibly do. Since I've gotten older, I try to watch qualifying as much as I can in practice, but when I was younger, I didn't watch it a lot. I basically just watched the races. So I don't think I would have seen that live when it happened. But yeah, that's definitely a memorable moment too. I remember his awkward feud with Ryan Blaney at Watkins Glen because I was there that day. I was like, that was a uneasy feeling. I mean, it was weird because, like, it was just a racing incident, you know, and you couldn't really see what happened in its entirety. But walking out of there were some people. I heard a couple of Jimmy Johnson fans like, freaking Blaney had to put him in the wall in turn 5, and I'm obviously there decked out in Blaney gear as I always am on race day, especially when I'm at the racetrack. Yeah, that was kind of an awkward feeling. I was like, yeah, okay. It's like, I wish I wasn't standing right behind you when you said that. Hopefully we don't make eye contact. Harvick's about to lose second to Tony Stewart now. He can't get the job done to get around Johnson, and Stewart saying, "Let me try." He's able to battle with Jimmy very early in the race. Got 11 people down in the comment section below. I asked a trivia question about 20 laps ago, but we didn't have anybody in the chat answering the question, so I'll re-ask it right now. Our trivia question for the night: Jimmy Johnson has 4 career wins at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. What year did he win a race leading only 1 lap? Leading the final lap of the race. Johnson was able to get a last lap pass for the win. What year was that race? Jarrett going to try to go to the apron into turn 3. I mean, what's Jimmy going to have to do? We've seen Gordon try that move. That's the second time Dale Jarrett's gone all the way down to the apron. You just can't block that kind of a run, especially when they go that low. I mean, no reason to block. You just basically got to hold your line and let him go. Yeah, this Lowe's paint scheme, very highly underrated. So I was able to see all the Johnson throwback schemes in person because I went to the Southern 500 last year, so that was pretty cool. Hendrick Motorsports did a bunch of throwbacks. Who would I love to commentate with? So if you're talking like actual commentary, like if I was the actual lap-by-lap guy or the play-by-play, whatever you want to call it, I guess with auto racing, but honestly, I feel like I'd get along well with like a Dale Jr. character in the booth. I have obviously high excitement, and I could only imagine like the excitement of both of that feeding off each other. Darrell Waltrip would have been pretty cool too, but like I feel like he would have fit with my style of commentary a little bit. Obviously, he's retired. Hopefully, you didn't Google that, but yes, the answer is 2006. Jimmy Johnson led 1 lap in the 2006 Las Vegas race, passing Matt Kenseth. In the final lap, after a green-white checker finish. Yeah, I definitely can't remember stuff from when I was 3 or 4 years old. Yeah, I get the question a lot that, you know, what was the first race you ever watched, or, you know, when did you start watching NASCAR? I honestly don't know. I've been watching it as long as I can remember. Stewart's going to go to the apron. Johnson's going to go to the apron. Well, I guess that is a blockable move, but Jimmy got loose, and he's got to get out of the gas. He's in the wall anyway. And Jimmy tried to go to the apron. Looked like he had the block cleared, but he just lost control of his car as it stepped out a little too much, and Tony Stewart's going to take the lead. Yep, the answer was 2006. Good job, Jonathan. Three wide into 1 and 2. I don't know how Jarrett got back to the inside of Harvick. Johnson got a heck of a run in the middle of the corner, despite driving it in as deep as he did. And he's going to get around Stewart and turns 3 and 4 for the lead again. Nathan Satan, welcome to the stream. One of the longer time subscribers of the channel. Welcome back. Jarrett back to the inside. Look at how close the 88, the 48 are to making contact. Johnson just trying to let it all hang out on the high side. Tony Stewart. Wow, I really thought Jarrett was going to slide up and clear him. Look at the side draft Johnson got on Jarrett down the backstretch. These guys have been racing very intensely all throughout. It has been a lot of action, a lot of fun action here tonight. And we're still not quite halfway. Jimmy, hard into turn 1, maybe a little too hard. Jarrett should be able to clear now. I'd be shocked if he didn't. Yeah, he's going to be able to clear pretty easily. Johnson still gets a good run, though, to at least hold clear of Stewart by the time they get into 3. Johnson beats Jarrett back to the inside now. So he slides the tires a little bit. Is he going to clear the 88? Oh! Little nudge. Stewart now going to get around Jarrett, it looks like, as well. Harvick's got to run to the inside. Stewart trying to block him, and Jimmy again gets tight in turns 1 and 2. He's gotten tight at that end of the track all day. Brushes the wall down the backstretch. Look at Harvick. What a move. I didn't think he was underneath the 88 still, but he was. Now he's underneath the 48. Look at the run off the high side off of 4 for Johnson. Oh, another nudge. A little donut on the side of the 20 car. Jimmy trying to hold on to it. Deep dive into turn 3 to the inside of Stewart. A little too deep and a little too loose. Stewart hangs on to the lead. Johnson high to block Harvick. Harvick with a crossover now to the bottom. Oh, contact! They stack up behind. Everybody's all over the place. Jarrett to 3rd. Harvick battling for 4th. Stewart still leads Johnson in 2nd. Oh yeah, Johnson's in the Hall of Fame. First ballot for sure. Caution. Just shy of the halfway mark. Caution's out for the 4th time. Bobby Labonte goes for a spin off turn 4, backing it into the outside wall. Michael Waltrip, Brendan Gaughan get a piece of it. Oh, somebody stole on the racetrack, it looked like. I don't know if that's a glitch or not. It looked like somebody stalled, and then Bobby Labonte went for a spill. Johnson coming to pit road. Nobody else will follow him. Jimmy's going to take a half a round of wedge out of the car. 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel for Jimmy Johnson. Well, Johnson's not inducted into the Hall of Fame yet. He's not technically eligible for induction. They probably put some of his stuff in already just because. Actually, when I was there, they did have... I think they had one of his championship cars in there already. But I think it was because it was more of a Hendrick Motorsports thing than Jimmy Johnson himself, because Jimmy was still racing at the time. Because I went there in 2019, and they had one of his cars in there for... I think they might have had his Daytona 500 car in there. I think that's what it was. It was either his Daytona 500 car, or it was one of his championship cars with Rick Hendrick being inducted into the Hall of Fame that year I went. Green flag back in the air. Johnson on fresher tires than the rest of the field. But he's going to have to come from the back. And Johnson was a rookie in the Cup Series in 2002. Oh, my goodness. Jimmy only took a half round of wedge out of the car because it was a little too tight after he put 2 rounds of wedge in from the start of the race. Still going to pass a few cars on the opening lap. A lot of them are slower at the back anyway, and of course Jimmy, again, having the fresh tires is going to help. Tony Stewart leads here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Johnson sends it into turn 1 to get around the 191. By the way, that last caution with Labonte spinning, that was the second caution Labonte's been involved in today. He was in that lap 2 accident earlier as well. Johnson with a little slide job to get around Scott Wimmer in the 22. Another rookie. And we're not far from halfway. 4 cautions already. Boy, Vickers has lost a ton of spots after qualifying on the pole. Johnson barely keeps it off the wall. Hendrick Chevrolet side by side. Terry Labonte, Brian Vickers. Ooh, Robbie Gordon. I don't know if he made contact with Terry Labonte. Definitely close there. Johnson gets around him 3 wide to the inside. Jimmy's just trying to rip through this field. Very shocked nobody else came to pit road under that caution. These guys were about halfway on fuel. Laps we get a caution. We haven't actually gone all the way through a fuel run on a full run. Jeff Green kind of nudged into the 48 on corner entry. I don't think he realized Jimmy was coming in that fast, but I don't think he also realized the fresh tires Johnson had over him. No debris cautions despite the accidents we've seen tonight as well. Very minimal, or a minimum amount of DNFs along the way as well. We saw Ricky Craven blow an engine earlier. The 141 car blew an engine. He also spun into the outside wall for that second caution of the race back on lap 51. Michael Waltrip almost ended up in the wall. Getting into turn 1. Jimmy pushed straight up the track. On the brakes he goes. Trying not to clip Waltrip on his way up the track. Great job in not doing that. Biffle to the back bumper of Jimmy. Couldn't follow him underneath the 15 and the 41 that time, though. And Bobby Labonte might try to take a swing at Jimmy Johnson, so Jimmy's going to try to make quick work of him. To the inside, Labonte shoves him down low. Johnson, awkward angle into turn 1. Comes up the track right back into Labonte again. 3 wide. Waltrip escapes to the inside. Oh, and Labonte is about to wipe out Jimmy Johnson as he sends him into the grass. Johnson just locking it down immediately, trying not to get ran into from behind as he comes back up the track into turns 3 and 4. Bobby Labonte just about took out Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy's still trying to get up to speed. 3 wide into 1. And he's in the middle. Contact with Kyle Petty on the outside. Bobby Labonte is very upset with Jimmy Johnson. Cross flags were halfway home here tonight at Vegas. Johnson has obviously just lost more ground. Michael Turner, welcome to the stream. Started watching NASCAR in 2009 Daytona 500. Interesting. 3 wide to the inside. Tim, I did catch the Xfinity race, but I only caught the end of it. I had to work earlier in the day and then started a little bit later so I could see the end of the race because I was getting the stream set up and working on the channel, and I honestly somewhat forgot about it. And then I remembered, oh, okay, it might be on. Let me not start the stream until after the race is over, and that's when I caught the overtime. The last overtime finish. I didn't see how they got there, but that's literally all I saw. And then didn't wait for the interview, started the stream immediately after. A couple people saw a couple people comment in the chat that Gregson had bad luck and something happened to Gregson. I'm not sure what happened to him. I missed that. All I saw was Mike Snyder getting the win. Like Gregson crashed out. Did he deserve it, or like how did that happen? Can't watch it because you don't have cable. That's a bummer. At least the Cup race is on Fox tomorrow, so you don't need cable to watch it. We'll be live streaming it anyway, though, with the live commentary at least. So we'll have some fun with that. Sorry, Johnson up to 23rd at lap 139 at the start-finish line. Oh, somebody made contact up there. I think Jeff Green got in the back of the 105 car. I think that was the 105. No, it was Rusty Wallace. I thought Vickers was going to go 3 wide. Johnson decided, hey, let me take it 3 wide. If you're not, what a move to get around Vickers, Wallace, and Jeff Green. Wouldn't have done it without the fresh tires, that's for sure. Gregson isn't a very nice guy. Oh, Biffle got tight. Then back down to the bottom just in front of Johnson. Luckily, he had the 40 car of Sterling Marlin cleared when he did get tight. Jimmy gets underneath him in the center of 3 and 4, and he'll get around the 16 car for 16. Bobby Labonte in 15th place right in front of him. Bobby already tried to take him out last time, sent Johnson into the grass, losing Johnson more valuable time in trying to catch these guys. Oh, Gregson had nowhere to go. Well, where was he running, though, at the time of him wrecking? Flat tire for David Starr. Was he in the lead when it happened or something? Well, Jeff Gordon's clawed and scratched his way back to the front now. Johnson's going to have to be very, very careful. Trying to get around Bobby Labonte. Bobby Labonte's not very careful as he gets into the left rear of Jeff Burton. Moving him out of the way as Jeff loses a couple spots. Bobby Labonte is a man on a mission right now. He gets underneath Michael Waltrip. Johnson's just kind of following Bobby Labonte through this field of cars. Mainly because once Jimmy gets alongside of him, you know Bobby's going to try to take a swing at him. He's got to run here. He's just going to let him go. Johnson not looking for payback of any sort. He's just trying to get around him. He was in first with 10 to go. Man, that's a bummer. Oh, Jimmy gets into Labonte, and Labonte's in the wall anyway. We stay green. Wow, Jimmy barely got into him, but that's all it takes. Well, I guess, in all fairness, Johnson did get swung on by Labonte twice in the race already, so got put in the grass by him on the last attempt. I guess that worked out, and we stay green, which also kind of makes it work out. Bobby Labonte hit that wall pretty hard. He got really sideways, too. Surprised we stayed green. Elliott Sadler trying to get around his teammate Dale Jarrett for 7th. He had a 9-second lead. Wow. That's crazy. A 9-second lead. Oh, Harvick tries to block Johnson. Into turn 1. Sadler gets by both of them. Harvick was not clear at all. Sadler kind of pinching Johnson off now as well. Just hard racing. Again, closing in on lap 150. We are past halfway. Yeah, that's the problem, though, with me working Saturdays. I'm going to miss most of the Xfinity day races. I was able to catch the end. I could have caught a little bit more of it. I probably would have still missed the first 2 stages. I had to work on my predictions video for tomorrow, so I really was trying to nose down to get that, so that way it's out a lot earlier this time. Johnson gets into the left rear of Dale Jr. Jr. loses a couple spots and falls outside the top 5. Newman trying to go for the lead on Gordon. He's been pack racing all day today. Ryan Newman coming into the pits from 2nd. Johnson underneath Stewart for 2nd, slides up in front of him. Johnson with a huge run off turn 4. Beats Jeff Gordon to the line. That's another lead change. Johnson back out in front here at lap 151. Slides into 1 and 2 and pulls up the track in front of Gordon to clear him. Tony Stewart for third, came to pit road that last lap. And Gordon looks really low. He might be coming into pit road as well this time. No, he does not. Never mind. I thought Gordon was going to come into the pits that time. I guess he didn't. Continue to battle it out with Johnson right now, giving him a run for his money here. Jimmy did work his way towards the front of the field. He was fourth when the green flag pit stop started, but not far off the lead. Caution came out at a perfect time with this strategy in the Busch race yesterday at Vegas, with Harvick on a similar strategy to what Johnson's on now. It is a two-stop race to the finish anyway, though, for Jimmy Johnson. I say might as well pit right around these leaders. Might stay out a couple laps longer just in case, but we'll see. Oh, Jimmy got really loose. Got loose on entry, and then in the center of the corner, pushed tight. Once the tires finally tried to grip, so he gets in the wall a little bit off turn 2. Luckily, though, by the time, even with working Saturdays for those night races for the Cup Series, I'll be home before the start of it. We probably just won't be able to stream those days. So usually get home like right around 5:15, 5:30. Not everybody's hit pit road yet, but most of the field has during these green flag stops. And Jimmy Johnson was the only driver to come to pit road during that last caution. Nobody else pitted. So that gives Johnson a pretty big lead for now. When will Johnson pit? These guys have about 30 to 35 lap freshened tires, and they're going to be closing in on him. Lightning strike twice, though, with a caution, much like it did with Harvick in the Busch race yesterday. 2 pit stop race to the finish anyway, and I think Jimmy Johnson might be coming to pit road this time. So it looks like Johnson's going to pit anyway off turn 4, locking the tires down. Great job getting to pit road. 4 fresh tires, full tank of fuel. And Johnson's going to tighten that car back up again. Right back to where it was. So still kind of playing with the adjustments. The chassis adjustments at least. Johnson going to use that access road. Ryan Newman will cycle to the lead. Jeff Gordon in second. Tony Stewart third. That was the order in which they all pitted as well. Wow, Johnson really loose. Oh, and he slides back up into Dale Jr. as he was just very loose on the access road trying to come off of pit road. And off turn 2, he drilled Dale Jr. Jr. got pitched into the wall. And now Johnson's about 3 seconds off the lead. I don't, man, I don't understand with this game, you know, getting loose on the apron. Like, I'm on the access road and the car just wants to drift still. I didn't do that in the Busch Series race yesterday, though. But you can definitely tell it's because of the apron there. And Johnson just washed all the way up the track. Off the exit of the access road. Coming out of the pit lane and slid right into Junior. Junior had nowhere to go. Johnson couldn't hang on to it. Good run for rookie Casey Kane. He had a solid run at Rockingham until he blew an engine about halfway through the race. Casey wasn't fit, now back to 6th. Sorry, Casey Kane's in 5th place. Jimmy Johnson's up to 4th. Gonna pause it for a quick second and get my laptop on a charger. All right. Super close on fuel, too. Sure, those overtime finishes didn't help running those extra laps with the fuel. All right. Good thing I paused it on a straightaway. Roll into the corner pretty easily. So Rocket Man Ryan Newman back out in front again here today at Las Vegas. We are closing in on nearly 100 laps to go in this race. Jeff Gordon barely clinging on to 2nd place with Tony Stewart right there. Right behind him in 3rd. Jimmy Johnson closing that gap. Stewart a little too wide in turns 1 and 2. Johnson gripped up pretty well. Squeezing underneath Stewart. Clearing him down the backstretch now to the inside of Gordon for 2nd. Stewart followed Johnson to get around Gordon as well. And Ryan Newman might not have any choice but to surrender the lead to Jimmy Johnson going into turn 3, but I'm sure they're not going to go away. Nobody has been able to pull away. Even during the green flag stops that we just had, nobody's able to pull away. Newman in the wall off 4. Getting a little too tight. This is going to come down to the last lap here today. I have that feeling. Look how low Newman's going. Should be going even lower to block. That might have been a bait move. Newman goes high that time, but he can't get the run in 3 and 4, and Tony Stewart's going to get underneath him. We'll have 100 laps to go this time by. Once again, Jimmy Johnson's found himself out in the lead. Next race of the season at Atlanta Motor Speedway. First of 2 trips to Atlanta this season. Not sure when we'll get to that Cup Series race. But we'll get there when we do. Probably next weekend. So there we are, 100 to go. Back and forth go Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart for second place. You mean like in a video game you've never raced a Gen 6 car? Or? I would assume you have. I mean, I don't know you personally, so I wouldn't know 100%, but I mean, the Gen 6 car would be any of the NASCAR heat games, really. And then, what? Most of the Technic games? Not all of them, but most of them. At least half of them. I don't know how many there are. How many Technics games were there for NASCAR? Like 5 or 6? Were the inside line games Technics? I guess that's what I'm kind of thinking. Because if that's the case, then yeah, I think there were 6 of them. Jimmy gets tight 1 and 2 again. It's been a couple laps, but Newman will get right underneath him. And Johnson, nowhere to go. Newman going to be able to clear? Nope. The side draft off turn 4, pulling him right back to the start-finish line. Johnson leads the lap by inches. 2 wide in turns 1 and 2, and Ryan Newman should be able to clear. Will he pull up? Yes, he will. Johnson able to go down low in front of Stewart and back underneath Ryan Newman into turn 3. Newman trying to pinch Johnson down. Get a little side draft off the right rear. Tiny bit of contact. Oh, and more contact, and that leaves the bottom open for Stewart. They're 3 wide for the lead. Going into turn 3, they're still 3 wide. Newman has to drop back. Stewart leads the lap at the line. Johnson back on the outside again. Gordon's still back and forth holding his own. Well, Johnson leads, but now Stewart gets the run off the outside and a power move into 1 and 2 by Tony Stewart. Looked like he was going to get down in front of Johnson, but not quite. Johnson slides the tires underneath Stewart. Holds on to it. And pulls clear down the back straightaway. Stewart going to go a little too wide in 3 and 4. Maybe try that upper groove again. Seems like that upper groove is starting to come in later and later in the race for the other drivers. Johnson was able to get it to work pretty much since the start of the day, but everybody else, not so much. Lap traffic should be coming up here pretty soon as well. Tony Stewart. Good run. Johnson with a better run for the moment. Well, 90 laps to go this time by. Tony Stewart leads Las Vegas Motor Speedway, but maybe not for long. Johnson going to try to cross him back over again. Don't go anywhere, folks. This is going to be a very tight race to the finish. Everybody still has one more pit stop still to go. We've had 4 cautions so far today. We're about to add another one right there as Tony Stewart drills the wall off turn 4. Ryan Newman makes the pass. You guys know the trend with NASCAR Chase for the Cup 2005 and the channel. 5 seems to be the lucky number for cautions. We had 5 cautions in the Busch race yesterday. At Las Vegas, we had 5 cautions in the Busch race at Rockingham last week. In our Cup race at Rockingham last week, we had 5 cautions as well. And I believe at Daytona we had 5 cautions in the Busch Series. I think we had more than that in the Cup. Or actually, no, we might have had just less than that in the Cup Series. I know we didn't have 5. Stewart to the inside of Ryan Newman. And Newman brushes the wall off turn 4, much like Stewart did a couple laps ago. Stewart back to the inside of Ryan Newman now because of it. Pit window should open up with about 65 laps to go. I think Johnson's able to go about 68 laps on fuel, so 65 should be a good opening to the window, if not a little sooner for some of these other guys. Stewart all clear for the lead. A little nudge back there for second between Jimmy Johnson and Ryan Newman as Johnson holds on to second. Not going to allow the 12 car to get around him. Johnson back to the inside of Stewart on turn 2, and look at Jeff Gordon starting to peek back into the picture again. He was kind of creeping along in 4th place, not going anywhere, and now he's going somewhere as he's trying to get around Ryan Newman for 3rd. As Johnson gets right back around Tony Stewart once again. And the lap car will be coming up. I am shocked at how many cars are on the lead lap in this race still. I know we had 4 cautions in the first less than 150 laps, but still. These shorter green flag runs. Jimmy Johnson, his first career title, technically. But he'd end up going on to win 8. That's why we named this the Chase for 8 once again. Chase for 8 Part 2. Similar to what we did with NASCAR Heat 5. Yeah, Stewart's got to run. Wow, I didn't think Johnson was going to be able to block him that time. He did. And then Jimmy pulled up immediately after, thinking he wasn't going to clear him, even though he did, and Stewart's going to take the lead anyway. Is he going to clear him? Yes, he will. Jeff Gordon, we mentioned him passing Newman for 3rd. He's right there. Johnson easily gets back around Stewart, or at least made it look easy through turns 3 and 4, passing him right back for the lead again. Stewart trying to get underneath Jimmy Johnson. He does. Johnson trying to hang on that right rear of Jeff Gordon. Gordon still down low. And Johnson with a move. Back to the lead again. Back and forth go the top four. Charlie Davis is the lap car in the 123. And he's going to try to stay on the lead lap as long as he can and hope for a quick yellow. And the way these top four are racing, could see the caution up here. Haven't seen a caution at the front of the pack yet today. And Davis is blocking Jimmy Johnson. And that gives Stewart the advantage for a second, but Johnson with a crossover trying to get back to Stewart in turn 3. And does. Everybody else gets around Davis to the inside. Johnson goes up the track some more off turn 4. But holds on to the lead. Stewart had to go high as well as Newman has gotten to his left rear. Gordon's still back there in 4th. Newman all clear up to 2nd. I don't know how he got around Gordon. I don't know if the lap car Davis might have gotten in the way, but let's see. My skill points are about to max out here very shortly. You're going to see that a lot with these full races, especially in the Cup Series. These guys can go about another 33 to 34 laps on fuel from where they're at now. Well, I should say Johnson. The rest of the field pitted about 5 laps before him. But it's still a 1 pit stop race to the finish for everybody. Everybody will be able to make it from that point as well. We saw a caution at Rockingham come out right at the edge of the pit window. Well, that happened again today, putting this into a fuel mileage race for the 2nd straight race. Johnson still a little too tight in 1 and 2. He's been struggling with that most of the day, at least since the 2nd run. He's been struggling with the car being tight on that end of the track. 3 and 4, it's not that bad. You did see it wiggle right there, but the tires are getting just a little bit older. Oh, Johnson out of shape. Slides the tires a little too much into turns 1 and 2. Tony Stewart all clear. Stewart trying to block. Not wanting to give up the bottom. Johnson still gets the run anyway. And still beats Stewart back to the line. Clear into turn 1 for Jimmy Johnson. Another lap car in the way. This time it's Rocky Perry in the 143. We saw Charlie Davis in the 123 get in the way of Johnson and cost him for a slight moment the lead earlier, and now this lap car, Rocky Perry as well trying to block. Jimmy's going high, he's going low. Perry keeps blocking him. Newman, meanwhile, the 2nd. Gordon has fallen a little bit further back now. Johnson tight in 1 and 2 again as he's in line behind Perry. Bottom is open for Ryan Newman. So Perry is holding up Jimmy Johnson. Johnson cannot get around Rocky Perry. And he's just stuck on the outside behind him, and that's going to give the lead to Ryan Newman. Oh, Jimmy up the middle, 3 wide. Just barely squeezing in between the leader, Newman, and the lap car of Rocky Perry. How did he get to the outside of Ryan Newman there? He's not going to let Newman clear him. Newman, oh boy, about squeezed Johnson into the wall. Jimmy not backing down from this fight. Great battle going on right now. Newman comes so close to clearing Jimmy Johnson, but he just can't do it. Now he will. Oh. Johnson way too loose. Tony Stewart to second. Johnson back to third. He just kind of gave that spot up. He saw how loose he got in the center of the tri-oval, drove it in way too deep. The apron just doesn't work. It worked a lot better in the Busch Series than what we've seen in the Cup Series tonight. And that's why Jimmy's not going down there as much as Harvick did in a shorter race last night. Trying to read the chat, and I bounced it off the wall again. Not a hard hit, but enough to keep Johnson about a half a second off the lead. The back bumper of Stewart. 70 laps to go this time by. Stewart to the inside of Ryan Newman for the lead. Got it. Johnson underneath Stewart now. Wasn't 3 wide necessarily, but looked like Johnson was just going to kind of follow Stewart under there. Jimmy's still sideways. Still hasn't been able to even clear Newman for second. Now he clears Newman for second. 5 lap cars about to get in the way. Lap car, the 103, let Stewart on by and actually got the wall. Gave up maybe a little too much room there to the leaders. Unfortunately, kind of held Ryan Newman back a little bit. Lap 200 in this race now. Johnson to the inside of Stewart, 1 and 2. Trying to maybe trap Tony behind these lap cars. That would be perfect for Jimmy Johnson. He traps him behind the 151. Stewart's stuck now. There's still 4 more lap cars in front of Jimmy Johnson. A little shaky into turn 1. Bobby Boone in the 149. Another generated rookie driver. Looks like Kyle Petty's up here. Scott Wimmer. And there's another generated driver, but I don't know who that driver is. It's in front of these 3 guys behind him, as well as the 2 race leaders. Jimmy Johnson has just clinched the most laps led. That'll be a 10 bonus point day for him. Led the most laps at Rockingham in the last race as well, and just nowhere to go with the side-by-side lap traffic in front of Johnson. Tony Stewart all the way to the inside. Look at Jimmy kind of pinching Stewart, 3 wide. Still cars on the top, though, in front of Jimmy Johnson. There's nowhere to go for him. Oh, and Bobby Boone pulls up in front of Stewart. Oh, boy. Something happened to Stewart. He got loose. And Ryan Newman's up to second. Yeah, Stewart got really loose getting into turn 1 that last lap. Johnson gets around Petty. Jimmy to the back bumper of Bobby Boone. Keeps getting into the back of Boone. It's actually going to shove Boone right by the driver he's trying to battle for position of the 122. Not exactly what Jimmy's intending on doing. Green flag pit stops are going on, though, as we speak, as we close in on 60 laps to go in this race. Just under a quarter tank of fuel left in Johnson's race car. Well, who will win here today at Las Vegas? Jimmy's got about a 7 to 8 second lead over Ryan Newman. Bobby Boone not giving him a lot of room. Bobby might be trying to come to pit road here. Jimmy to the inside. Ugh, man, what was Bobby Boone doing there? He pitched him down. He didn't come to pit road. Granted, he couldn't with Johnson there. Johnson high to block Newman, and Newman's going to get to the lead now. Jimmy lost all of his momentum in turns 3 and 4, and Ryan Newman swoops on by to take the lead, despite Johnson having nearly a 1 second lead on him. These lap cars are just not cutting Jimmy Johnson any slack. Tony Stewart actually gets the second, and now Stewart's going for the lead in turns 3 and 4. To the bottom of the track. Jimmy Johnson to the apron underneath. Both of them, or at least tried to go underneath both of them. Ugh. Petty into the back of Johnson as Johnson slides through the tri-oval. Newman going for the lead on Stewart. He's got him. 59 laps to go at the start-finish line, and Ryan Newman back out in front. Johnson, meanwhile, to the inside of Stewart for second. Look at how low Newman's going to go into turns 1 and 2. Trying to take Johnson's line away from him. Jimmy gets around Stewart easily in turns 1 and 2, and he's all over the back bumper of race leader Ryan Newman. Now, maybe looking high. Lap car might get in the way. Johnson's got a crossover on Bobby Boone and Ryan Newman now. Johnson leads the lap, and he's on the inside of Newman as well. Into turn 1. Oh, Jimmy! Squeezing off the 12. He's still tight. In the wall goes Johnson. He kind of flipped himself off the front bumper of Newman's car. There's a fly buzzing around in my room now. It's distracting me. Oh, Newman tried to chop down in front of the 48 of Johnson. He was not clear. And now Newman's in the wall. Lap car coming off the pit road. It's the 161 car. Johnson slides the tires into turn 1. Stewart trying to get underneath him. Tony Stewart came to pit road that time, keeping Johnson out in front of the field. Jimmy going to pit this time by to not let Stewart get too much of an advantage with those fresh tires, but one lap might be enough to give Stewart the lead, with him being that close to Jimmy Johnson at the time of coming to pit road anyway. This will be the final pit stop of the race. These guys are well within range to make it on fuel to the end. Johnson off turn 4, locking the tires down, trying to get to pit road, and will successfully. No adjustment changes this time. 4 fresh tires and a full tank of fuel with just over 50 laps to go. Johnson's pit crew hasn't been that fast during the pit stops under caution. A 16-second stop, not bad though for this green flag pit stop. They're on a very long green flag run. Just like last time, just getting really loose on that access road. Tony Stewart cycled out in front of Johnson. Actually, Ryan Newman did as well. Jeff Gordon coming to pit road. He stays out longer than anybody. Dale Jr. still on the racetrack. He has to pit yet. Maybe just hoping for a caution to trap a lot of these guys a lap down. Been a while since we've seen one. Johnson to the outside of Newman. Oh, he was going to look high, and he gets into the back of Newman. Actually kind of shoved Newman into the 45. Poor Kyle Petty in the wrong place at the wrong time. And Stewart checked up off turn 4. Junior came to pit road right in front of him. And Johnson's going to get to the inside of Stewart now. Really looses Jimmy Johnson into 1 and 2. Gordon coming off pit road. He's right there as well, and Jimmy Johnson is out in front. I should say Johnson will be the eventual leader. Casey Kane is still shown as the leader right now. So Kane, the rookie, going to get 5 bonus points. Maybe. No, it looks like his pit box was before the start-finish line. And Jeff Burton is going to lead that lap, though Burton did already lead a couple laps earlier. I believe he did. "50 laps to go for Jimmy Johnson. He'll officially take the lead going into turn 1. From Jeff Burton, who is still on pit road, and he's opened up about an 0.8 of a second gap on Stewart. Lap car, though, right in front of Johnson with Kyle McCoy in the 105. Lap cars have not made it easy for Johnson when Jimmy has led today. Jimmy overdrives 3 and 4 just a little bit. Maybe too much of that white paint on the left side tires. No clean air for Johnson with his lap car right in front of him. Jimmy's trying to get around him as quickly as he can. He gets to his inside. Look at the 105, how low he is running off the exit of turn 2, just trying to pinch Johnson. So he tries to stay on the lead lap again, but Jimmy's going to get right around him. Johnson's going to look to stay in front of him as well. He's just got to be really smart here. Just do all the right things to hopefully just stay in front of Tony Stewart. Maybe he can keep this kind of a gap back to Stewart and not allow this thing to get close by the end, though there's still a lot of laps left for this to get close. Obviously more lap traffic for the end of the race as well. Green flag pit stops only spacing apart the field even more now. Johnson trying to go back-to-back, much like Harvick did in the Busch Series, winning at both Rockingham and Vegas for the second and third races of the season. On a 0.9 of a second lead back to Stewart, still one lap car in between the top two. There are 4 lap cars within a straightaway in front of Jimmy Johnson as well. I don't think we've seen Johnson with over a 1 second lead all day today, despite leading the most laps. Just been how close it's been. Can alternate through the different camera angles. Still have to do that a couple times yet today. We haven't done it yet. Why not choose right now? So we're on this final fuel run to the finish. It'll be interesting to see, though, if we get a caution, if anybody pits. I think if you're the race leader, you got to stay out. Because if you pit and everybody else behind you stays out, you might have fresh tires, but you're going to be at the very back, and you're not going to be able to make that kind of time up this late in the race. Almost impossible. This juncture. 1.1 second lead right now for Jimmy Johnson. Again, Stewart still in second, Ryan Newman in third. Not sure where everybody else cycled out behind those guys. I think Jeff Gordon might be out there in fourth place still. That's where he was before the pit stops. Mark Martin's a lap car right in front of Jimmy Johnson right now. 1.2 second lead for Jimmy. Looking really fast. Ooh, wow, John. Well, maybe a little too fast right there as he got out of shape off turn 2. These lap cars are definitely holding up Johnson, it seems like. I don't know, he's still pulling away from Stewart. I don't know if Stewart went the wrong way with an adjustment change or what, because Ryan Newman has ran him down for second now. And Stewart is not keeping up with Jimmy Johnson like he was earlier. He's about 1.4 off the lead, though. All these lap cars right in front of Johnson. Can't make it easy for Jimmy. Martin checks up off turn 4, contact with the 48. Still on his outside. I said Newman because it was a 6 car. I meant Mark Martin. Newman is in third and still trying to get around smoke. Going to put a lot of lap cars in between where Johnson's at and where Tony Stewart's at right now. That's 4 of them. Just right then and there. Now 1.7 second lead back to Stewart. That's all he needed was maybe green flag pit stops just to separate the field enough to where Stewart just couldn't keep that pressure on Johnson. Now they're as less of pressure as there's been on Jimmy all day. We'll see. 2.5 lead. Stewart has closed in about 0.2 of a second, but I don't think he is close enough to those lap cars yet. I don't think he is, at least. Unless Ryan Newman jumped up to second place, that's possible, because Stewart was losing ground on Jimmy Johnson in that interval all of a sudden. Again, about the last 4 or 5 laps is closing in, just less than a tenth of a second a lap. So Ryan Newman might have jumped up to second place. We know he was very close to getting around Stewart a few laps ago, before the lap cars got in the way in the rear view that we can't really see the battle for second anymore. Once Johnson hits his marks, he's going to be tough to beat. And again, just kind of hoping this race plays green to the end as well. What a mighty long green flag run this would be to the finish as well. Over 130 laps worth of green flag running to the finish if this does stay green. By the way, Tony Stewart is still in second place, and he's kind of kicked it into high gear all of a sudden. So that lead is down to 1.1. In the middle of turns 1 and 2 right now. I mean, this wasn't over anyway, but that's certainly not helping Johnson. Chad can now sustain quiet on the radio right now, not letting him know how much he's actually closing in on him. But it's been about 0.6 of a second or so in the recent laps. Johnson a little too tight in 1 and 2. Johnson has won a race this year in nail-biting fashion at Rockingham, where he's battling Harvick on the last lap of the race. Harvick ran out of gas while trying to get around Johnson off turn 2 and didn't really get to see them race back to the line, unfortunately. Or at least race back to the line, battling for the win, of course. Now that run's kind of stalled out right at about 1.1 seconds. 30 laps to go at Vegas. We mentioned before the start, or I should say during the stream, in our trivia question that Jimmy Johnson has won at Las Vegas 4 times in his NASCAR Cup Series career, but that was all after this 2004 season, or I should say during the 2004 season or beyond. To win this race, so we're trying to recreate a little bit of history here tonight by winning this race at Vegas. Tony Stewart is still not going anywhere. It is down to 0.8. About 0.8 of a second off the lead now. He might have been saving his tires a little bit perhaps, and that's why he was falling off the pace just a little bit. Noticed Ryan Newman was getting close to him and figured, I got to pick this pace back up again pretty soon here. And he is. There are 3 lap cars not far in front of Jimmy Johnson. Looks like Scott Riggs in the 10 car is one of them. I believe he might be the next lap car. Terry Labonte, his teammate in the 5, also towards the front in this group. Cars haven't been kind to Johnson today. They've been more kind since the final pit stop, I will say that much. But up until that point, not so much. Closer Johnson gets to these guys' back bumpers, it's going to affect the handling of his car just a little bit more. That's why he needs to get around all three of these guys as soon as he can. So now the airflow with Johnson's car and Stewart's car is even. No clean air advantage for Johnson for the moment. Problem is they're all going back and forth, battling side by side and passing one another quite often. Looks like the 191 might be the other lap car up here as well. But again, they're battling hard with one another. Johnson trying to close that gap. And he is all over the inside of Scott Riggs. He's going to get underneath of Terry Labonte right now as well. Kind of followed the 191 car. Still has to get around the 191 now. Through the tri-oval. Ooh, Johnson got a little too tight. And after getting tight, it actually opened up the bottom for his teammate, Terry Labonte, to get under him. Johnson back down in front of Labonte. Underneath the 191 car into turn 3. Ooh, a little contact on the 191 off turn 4. Nothing too major, but enough to slow him down the front stretch. Terry Labonte sends it into turns 3 and 4 back to the inside of Jimmy Johnson as he's trying to get back on the lead lap, but he is battling his teammate of all people right now trying to get back on the lead lap in case we get a quick caution late in this race, and it is allowed. Tony Stewart will close the gap into 1 and 2 as Johnson had to go high that time. Of all the lap cars costing Jimmy Johnson time late in this race, you would think his teammate and longtime veteran, two-time Cup Series champ, Terry Labonte will be one of the last of those people to do something like that. Johnson gets back around Labonte again, but Stewart is to the back bumper of Labonte himself as this race has gotten interesting. 20 laps to go this time by. It has taken Stewart about a good 25 laps to run Johnson down during the course of this run, but he's only got about a car length and a half or so behind Johnson down the back straightaway. Setting up for a wild one here today in the West at Vegas. We'll go back to the far chase cam for the final 20 laps of today's race. So Stewart's gotten to him. How is he going to get around him? Jimmy's got the clean air for now. There is another lap car at least that these guys will catch before the end, if not more. Johnson actually gapped Stewart a little bit in turns 1 and 2. Surprising, considering the fact that Johnson has been better in 3 and 4 today than what he has been in turns 1 and 2. Pretty even that time through 3 and 4, though. Stewart's definitely got the pressure on Johnson. Jimmy hasn't really made a mistake today on his own, though. Not a major one. He's gotten really tight in 1 and 2 and gives up the bottom a little bit like he did there, but Stewart again trying to hang on. Johnson trying to protect the inside. He's going to try to make Stewart pass him on the high side, though we have seen it been done. Johnson's done it more often than anybody else. But we saw Newman pass on the high side earlier. We did see Stewart pass on the high side earlier as well. Lap 250. Johnson definitely slid the tires a little bit into turns 1 and 2. Past halfway through this tire run, so again, they're good on fuel and tires at the end of the race. Doesn't mean the tires aren't going to be worn out, especially in the desert area, Las Vegas, Nevada. Where can Stewart make a move on Jimmy Johnson? And don't forget Ryan Newman and Jeff Gordon in 3rd and 4th still. This might be the opportunity. Nope, not quite. Stewart thought he might have had a chance. I think Tony's being a little patient right now, trying to let these two settle it out. and not let anybody close that gap back in. As long as Johnson's not holding Stewart up too much, at least. Johnson gaps him off turn 4, beats him back to the gas there. 15 laps to go at Vegas. I think the opportunity, if Stewart's going to want to try to get to the inside or try to make that pass, is going to have to be in turns 1 and 2. Johnson's just got to make sure he doesn't get too tight at that end of the track. Stewart doesn't want to wait till the last lap by any means, but being a little patient with more than 10 laps to... Oh, caution! With 14 laps to go, caution will wave for the 5th time. There's that magic number. And it actually happened behind the leaders as the lap car, Terry Labonte, spins in turns 1 and 2, backs it into the outside wall. And if you thought it was about to get crazy, how about a late race restart with about 10 laps to go? Johnson staying out of the pits. We'll see if anybody else pits behind him. No, they did not. So everybody stays out. They're going to keep their own track position. And we are going to set up for a wild finish with a late race caution. Lap cars will line up to the inside on the restart. There's 11 to go. Oh, Johnson gets into Riggs on the restart. That contact with Riggs on the bottom allows Stewart to get to the outside. Will Stewart make the pass into turn 3, though? Dale Jr.'s in the mix. He has not led a lap all day outside of during green flag pit stops when he's trying to stay out a little bit longer than the rest of the field. And Dale Jr. out of nowhere is to the inside of Stewart for second with 10 laps to go. And a lap car, the 191, in front of the leaders, with the lap cars lining up to the inside on the restart. Jr. has cleared Tony Stewart for second. Johnson looks to the inside of the 191 off turn 2. They'll have the room to run to the inside. Is the 191 going to let the leaders race? Smart move. Let the leaders race it out to the finish as they come to 9 to go. And Johnson's got way more than just Tony Stewart to deal with, like he did before that caution. Now if we get a caution with less than 10 to go, and we get another restart, the lap cars will have to restart behind all the lead lap cars. Look at how low Junior's going to run. He's on the apron into turns 1 and 2. Johnson goes to the apron to try and block him. That time it worked. Earlier, Jimmy tried that. He got a little too loose, and that was when Stewart was trying to take the lead from him in that fashion earlier. Johnson is zigzagging down the front stretch trying to block Junior. Junior looks really fast, and we haven't really seen him up at the front battling with these guys today, but he is now at the point in time where it matters the most. Got a little tight 1 and 2 behind Johnson, though. And Tony Stewart to the inside looking. Johnson just trying to hit his mark. 7 to go at the line. After that late race restart just 3 laps ago, can Jimmy Johnson hold on to win? Everybody's on pretty old tires right now, so no advantage or disadvantage for anybody. Stewart blocks the crossover move by Junior to hang on to second. Tony has a run. Johnson still tight. Now blocks Stewart. Meanwhile, Stewart is blocking Dale Jr. Tony Stewart looks low. Johnson looks lower. Johnson gets a little loose, stays in the gas, blocks Stewart high on turn number 4. He almost gets to the wall. Stewart to the inside. They're 3 wide for the lead as Junior is underneath Stewart, and Johnson falls back to third. And here comes Harvick. Mr. Where did he come from? The closer's up to 4th place. Johnson to the inside, 3 wide for the lead. A little bit of contact with Dale Jr. Man, Jimmy is really loose in the tri-oval. He's going to lose a couple spots because of it. He's still loose into turn 1 in contact with Harvick. Kurt Busch is up to 5th. He's in the mix. Stewart looking for the lead into turn 3 underneath Dale Jr. Johnson just going to follow Stewart to get on by Dale Jr. Stewart leads with 4 to go. Stewart goes high. Johnson was trying to go high, but he got blocked off. Now he's in the wall off turn 2. Junior's already underneath him. Stewart is leaving a lot of bottom open for Dale Jr. Well, here we go. Johnson side draft to Dale Jr. Oh, a little contact with him. Squeezing Dale Jr. down the racetrack. Now to the inside of Stewart. There's contact there as well. Jimmy gets a little sideways. 2 laps to go for Tony Stewart as they battle for second behind him. Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson side by side. Johnson tight into 1 and 2. Oh, Stewart goes up the track. He's tight. 3 wide for the lead. Harvick to the inside now. 3 wide for the lead. Oh my goodness, they're 4 wide for the lead into turns 3 and 4. Coming to the white flag. Harvick on the bottom. Johnson on the top. Jimmy's loose. How did they make it through there? Harvick from 4th to 1st in that last lap. In contact with Junior and Johnson. They get sideways. Junior's in the wall. Johnson rides up the racetrack. And Kevin Harvick has the lead. Going into turn 3. Johnson hangs on. Run off the high side. Drives it full throttle into 3 and 4. Trying to push. Car getting loose. And Kevin Harvick off of turn 4 is going to win at Las Vegas and sweep the weekend. Harvick, what a 4-wide move to win this race with 2 laps to go. And Harvick wins on a late race restart. Coming in out of nowhere, as classic Kevin Harvick knows how to do. Oh my. I mean, that's a tough one for me personally to swallow. But that was one heck of a race. How did they make it 4 wide for the lead in turns 3 and 4 like they did? Obviously, the next lap when Junior, well, I should say on the final lap going into turn 1, Johnson and Junior were side by side, and Jimmy cut down into Dale Jr. They both got loose, and Junior actually got in the wall, and Johnson pretty much ended his chances of winning right there. And Kevin Harvick, I don't even know if Harvick led today outside of those final 2 laps. But Harvick will get the win at Las Vegas. 3 different winners in the first 3 Cup Series races this season. We'll take a look at the finishing results to this exciting finish. 69 lead changes at Las Vegas. Like I said, it was like a plate race out here. That's insane. 5 cautions. There's that magic number, with the last one pretty much costing Johnson and Stewart maybe the victory. They obviously had a chance to win even after the caution with that restart, but it brought everybody else back in it. Guys like Harvick and Jr. who were nowhere near Stewart and Johnson at the time of the caution. Ryan Newman restarted 3rd, but he really fell back. He was no part of the finish. Harvick led 15 laps today. That's it. But he gets the win. Johnson 2nd, Tony Stewart 3rd, Kurt Busch 4th. Jeff Gordon rounds out the top 5. Casey Kane led 1 lap in today's race, finishes 6th. Highest running rookie Dale Jr. fell back to 7th after being 3rd on the final lap. Elliott Sadler 8th. Ryan Newman fell back to 9th on that last restart. And Bobby Labonte, after crashing not once but twice, comes back to finish in the top 10. "24 drivers finished on the lead lap. And we had 4 drivers that DNF'd. Earl Hall, Parker, Ricky Craven, and Matt Kenseth actually DNF'd on lap 16. Didn't see that. Has to be a way not to get loose at the end. Well, we were on old tires. And we pretty much weren't loose after we made that first adjustment change during that second caution at lap 51, and we made that first pit stop. We weren't really loose for the most part the rest of the day. And the only reason I got that loose on the last lap is because I cut down in front of Dale Jr. thinking I could like send it into the corner and clear him, and it didn't work. Because if we would have been side by side with each other off turn 2 still, Harvick was going to win. And Harvick won anyway, so I guess it was worth a try. We didn't wreck, we saved it. We still finished 2nd, luckily, but that cost us any sort of shot we had at the win. I was one to win the race or lose the race in 1 and 2 versus 3 and 4, but it is what it is. What a finish. We've had some great races and some great finishes with this game already in multiple different series, but I think that one probably takes the cake so far. Just the fact that they were 4 wide for the lead coming to the white flag, that's insane. Thanks everybody for watching. As always, like, share, and subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Share this stream. Say, watch this close finish with your closest friends, your family member. And tell them this guy does realistic broadcasts and live streams with NASCAR video games, because that is exactly what we do every day on the channel. I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll have a doubleheader, an interesting doubleheader similar to what we did last Sunday. We'll be doing our race virtually at the Homestead Miami Speedway, and it will be our season finale, our series finale on NASCAR Thunder 2004. That will start at noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, and then the Cup race. Coverage starts at 3:30. I think the drop of the green flag is going to be like closer to a quarter till 4 tomorrow. We'll be live streaming that. I'll be doing a realistic broadcast for that race as well. It should be a lot of fun. Thanks everybody for watching. Have a good, safe rest of your night, and I'll see you tomorrow for a lot of action live here on KRC.